Hi there! Thank you for taking the time to watch a ProjectPAK demo. To kick things off, I like to start with a little bit of information on the people behind the solution. TradeSoft was established in 1994, and we have a team of 10 people. Our corporate office is located in Marietta, Georgia, and if you're not familiar with the area, it's just north of Atlanta. We have a total solution made for custom manufacturers just like you. There are 3 core applications in our integrated solution: ProjectPAK, ShopPAK, and SmartPart. ProjectPAK gives estimators a comprehensive tool for taking off jobs, estimating costs, generating quotations, and managing the entire process. There are 2 optional ProjectPAK products. The first is the pre-built database. It can save you months of setup time. It's loaded with products and job specs configured to the very best practices available in ProjectPAK. The second is the PlanSwift plugin. It seamlessly integrates ProjectPAK with PlanSwift's digitizer software, creating a powerful estimating duo. ShopPAK automates job management tasks once the project has been awarded. It's going to help your employees save time from order entry to final billing. ShopPAK also has a number of optional products that are intimately tied into the application that provides additional benefits and synergy to our customers, including the scheduler, engineering links, shop floor data collection, ShopPAK Mobile, and the scoreboard. And lastly, SmartPart. It's our complete shop floor part tracking and management application. It controls sorting, kitting, assembly, staging, and even tracking of damaged parts and products. We have a comprehensive, seamless solution, and as we like to say, we've got you covered, front to back. We designed our software around one central database, and the benefit to you is that you'll be able to share the information across your entire organization, which eliminates redundant data entry, and that saves you time. Another benefit of a central database is improving your bid accuracy. Why, you might ask? Because having one central database means having all kinds of opportunity for reusing historical data. And that's key for improving bid accuracy as well as speed. So during our ProjectPAK demo, I'm going to point out all of the places where you can tap into existing information to speed estimating and improving accuracy. Let's jump into some of the key ProjectPAK features. First, contact management. It gives you the ability to store all of your customer, vendor, and contractor details centrally. Bid management. It provides status reports, win-loss statistics, RFIs, and transmittals. If ProjectPAK is anything, it's flexible and customizable. You can bid any job any way you want to, from lineal foot to exacting parametric estimating. ProjectPAK's dashboards and breakout reports let you analyze any aspect of the estimate. Our built-in document generator creates professional documents with just a click of a mouse. And another great feature of ProjectPAK is that it not only generates quotations, but it also creates alternates and change orders for you. We all know the advantage of lineal foot estimating is that it's easy and fast. But there are problems. It's inaccurate when products differ within the same lineal foot run. And if you're awarded the job, you have nothing to show for it but a sell price. You don't know your costs, you don't know what your materials are, and you don't know your labor hours, and thus you'll have to do that takeoff again, wasting precious time. In today's demo, you're going to see how ProjectPAK automates many of the steps that you do today, and you'll see how it all gets done with better accuracy. That being said, let's dive right in. Okay, so this is what ProjectPAK looks like once you log into it. It's pretty blank, we don't have anything open yet. But just to give you a quick lay of the land here at the top, we have our speed bar buttons. And then down below, we have our tabs. So we have business, contacts, projects, estimates, assembly, and manage. And we'll get through these as we go through the demo today. But to start off with our business tab, this is where we will store the prospects, customers, vendors, and subcontractors' information. And we can even open up an existing profile here so we can see all of the business information with their address and phone numbers, and we can also link contacts directly to the business profile. And if we jump over to the Contacts tab, we can manage and add new contacts with ease. A really useful feature in the Contact tab is that you can actually email your customer directly on this platform. You just click the email button and the window pops up. And what's really important here is that this software is built on a shared central database, so your whole team will be able to share the same information. Let's move on to estimating a job. For the demo today, we're going to bid a simple casework job, including a one-off reception desk for AVouch contractors. Before taking off the job, we first need to create a ProjectPAK project. Think of a project as the information side of an estimate. It identifies the name of the job and who the customer is. And you'll get to see here in a moment that there's additional items that can help us track and manage the project. There are a couple ways to create a new project, but since we already have the AVouch contractor record open, let's create the project from here. We'll just use our speed bar button and select a new project. There's only 2 fields required on the Project tab, the description and the customer. The Customer tab is already pre-populated, so all we have to do is add a description. We'll go ahead and name this project Fanning Hospital. And like I said, once we have a description and a link to a customer, we could start estimating the job. But there are a handful of other fields that we recommend you fill in as well. This will help you track projects and, by extension, estimates. One field is the bid due date, so you can track your due dates via the ProjectPAK status reports. So we'll just select a date here. And then another field is status. It's used to track what stage the project is in. Like so many areas in ProjectPAK, you can create status values that match your particular tracking needs. So you can see here the values that I have set up in my database. But if you need to change it out, just hit the Define button and modify to whatever you need. Another important tab would be Estimator. This identifies who's doing the bid, and it's important when running status reports. So for this one, we'll select Monica Lopez. Now that we have a project record filled out, let's check out a summary report. I want to sort this report out by estimator and project status, but you can see that there's a variety of options for filters. But before running the report, let's go ahead and narrow it down to which estimator and status we want to see. Once our report comes up, you can see that it's sorted out exactly how we set it up, estimator and project status. So you can see the status column, the customer column, the project description, the due dates, and the amounts that we have bid out. This is a great tool to keep track of all of the potential business you're bringing in. Let's go ahead and close the report out. Notice the sub-tabs at the bottom of the Project tab. For time's sake, I've already added data into these fields, but we have a Contacts tab where we can identify all of the contacts associated with the project. We can see their role and their contact information. There's also a Transmittal sub-tab. A transmittal just acts like a cover sheet to whatever you're sending, but the key thing is that it can be tracked. So let's go ahead and make a transmittal for samples that we're sending back to our estimator. So we just need to add dates, a contact, and a description. Now there's a few other buttons down here that we do need to fill out. Are we going to have it enclosed? And what kind of item are we including? And then the reason we're sending it. It's pretty quick and pretty easy. All we have to do is hit OK, and there you have a list of our transmittals. Moving on to the RFIs. RFI stands for Request for Information, and are used for formalized requests for further clarification. Like transmittals, they're easily tracked in ProjectPAK, so nothing falls through the cracks. Let's go ahead and create one really quickly. Just like a transmittal, an RFI is really easy to make. This one requires a contact and a quick description. We'll call this one the lounge. Below it, we can set a status. We also set a reason for request, and whether or not it impacts our costs, and whether or not it impacts our schedule. And we can even add a date down at the bottom just to keep things organized. But just like that, you've created an RFI and a transmittal. And our last sub-tab here is the documents. This is where we can link documents back to our project so they're there for easy access. Here are some sample drawings that I've added into our project. Now that we've filled out the Fanning Hospital project record with all the necessary information, we can move on to taking off the job. Now when you create an estimate for a project, ProjectPAK populates its settings from a predefined global default. So the first step is to make sure the global defaults are appropriate for the job that we're about to take off. One of the most important settings to check is the profit markup. I have mine set to 15%, and we can adjust this up or down as needed. Or we can just leave it set to the default. Another area to check is the sales and use tax percentages. That way they match the tax jurisdiction for this job. Everything looks good, so we are ready to start taking off the job. Now that we're on the Estimate tab, let's go ahead and break it down a bit. There's going to be 3 main panels. The left panel contains the job tree. This is where you organize the project into a hierarchical structure. It's completely open-ended, allowing you to create as many levels as needed to organize the job. The big panel here is the Estimate worksheet. It will contain all of the items associated with the selected estimate tree folder. And at the bottom of the screen is the Dashboard panel. It shows summary totals and various breakouts of underlying labor, material, cost types, and line types. Now that we're familiar, let's go ahead and get started with the estimate. Our first step is going to be building the estimate tree. For our job, let's say that there's going to be 2 floors, and each room has rooms that will fall under the scope of our bid. Let's create floor 1, room 1 and 2, and we'll do the same for floor 2. Today we'll go through 3 ways to take off a job. The first is you can reuse pre-built product assemblies and templates. The second way is you can copy items from existing estimates, and this is handy when products needed for the current job are similar to something you've done in the past. And third, you can stick build items on the fly by copying pre-built library items or just typing new items directly into your estimate worksheet. So let's take off items that go into room 1 by using the first approach, tapping into the pre-built product assemblies. We've selected room 1, now let's open the takeoff panel. The takeoff panel contains all of the pre-built assemblies and library items in our shared database. Looking at the plan's elevation, we can find and copy relevant items for room 101, so you can select multiple items in a single batch just to speed up estimating. Now it's best to enter the quantity at this point while our focus is on the batch of related items. So if you're using parametric assemblies, which we are, you'll also be able to tweak the product's attributes so that they match the elevation you're taking off. ProjectPAK dynamically reconfigures the product's underlying material and labor operations based on the overall product's width, height, depth, finished left and right, number of shelves, etc. So with each change, ProjectPAK is recalculating the cost and the sell price. Now that we've made some changes here, we'll click OK, and ProjectPAK is adding the items to the estimate worksheet and updates the summary dashboard total. So what if there were identical rooms in the scope of work? We could make a copy of a room and paste it into the job tree, but there's an even faster way. Taking a look at the detail panel, you can see that there's a quantity field. Just type the number of duplicate rooms and then update the description so it accurately identifies all of the rooms that we're combining. Down in the dashboard, ProjectPAK instantly updates the summary totals, so you always know where you stand with every single change you make. Let's move on to taking off room 102. Let's say it's similar to rooms 101 and 103, so we'll simply copy and paste the products from the existing rooms. And then we're able to make whatever modifications needed, so let's go ahead and make some changes. Now moving on to the second takeoff approach, finding similar items that we've previously bid on other jobs. Now really this is just an extension of using copy and paste, except we'll copy and paste from a different estimate into this estimate. So let's go ahead and pull what we need from here and drop it into room 201. Of course, when you copy in similar items, you can edit them and match the specifications of this job. So I'm going to make some changes here to match my elevation. The last estimating option is stick building one-off items. Let's say we're bidding that reception desk and we don't have any product assemblies that quite work for it, and nor do we have an existing estimate that has a similar reception desk. In this case, we're going to build it on the fly with reusable library items. The shared library is one of the most powerful features of ProjectPAK. The library is where you create and reuse low-level building blocks like materials, hardware, labor, and more. The first thing we need to do is to make a product. And now we're ready to add in relevant library items. I'll jump into the hardware and add some hinges, and then let's add some labor. We'll do assembly and installation. The next thing I want to do is add sheets of melamine, so we'll add a few sheets here. And now that we have all of these parts in there, we're going to fill in the quantities. Now obviously, a reception desk would have many more items and cost a lot more than what we just put in this little exercise. But the process remains the same. Actually, most of our customers would not only use the library items, but they would also copy in assemblies when building a one-off item. Anything in the database is fair game, and by reusing existing library items in assemblies, you're improving both takeoff speed and accuracy. And here's the good news. It's easy to create new library items and assemblies. In fact, you can create new library items and assemblies right from the estimate. Let's look at the detailed line items so you can see how ProjectPAK calculates a product's cost and sell price. ProjectPAK automatically sums the extended cost of the low-level items to get the extended cost of the reception desk. Similarly, it calculates the price in the same manner. Most of the time, this is exactly what you want. A product's sell price is based on the low-level material, hardware, and labor that comprise the product. But what if you want the sell price to be higher or lower? Can you override the price? The answer is yes. Every product has an adjusted unit price cell. So let's go ahead and override our reception desk to be $5,000. Whenever we override a product's sell price, ProjectPAK paints the product's icon green so that it stands out and it's easy to see which products are overridden. As I've mentioned, and you might have noticed, selecting any part of the estimate tree instantly refreshes the dashboard for that selection. Once I have base bid selected, ProjectPAK shows us the numbers for the entire bid scope. So we can see that the bid's total sell price is just over $26,000. Let's explore the dashboard a little more in depth. Cost types break the estimate down into broad categories like fabrication, finishing, installation, and etc. For each cost type, ProjectPAK shows labor hours, labor cost, material cost, and other costs. And finally, the percentage of cost types relative to the entire bid. In our example, we see the fabrication is at 76% of all costs. The line types break the estimate down by line type. For example, the labor, material, and hardware. ProjectPAK even gives you a visual graph that shows the breakout using a pie chart. And if you want to see an unduplicated aggregate list of all of the low-level items, just click the Line Item Report button. Now that we have the report open, we can see every single item in our bid. So we can see the hardware here for the hinge. It gives us the quantity, the extended cost, overhead, profit, and then it shows us our sell price. It does the same exact thing when we go down to our labor. So for example, our labor assemble for the box. It lays out the hours, the costs, and then of course that sell price. Hopefully you get the idea. You're getting a full analysis on every line item in your quote. So let's say that we're done estimating the job and we're ready to generate a quotation to email to our general contractor. This is the area where ProjectPAK really shines. ProjectPAK has a built-in document generator. It allows you to build up to 20 different template documents. The idea is each document has a particular purpose or is configured to look a certain way, meaning it improves the consistency across all of the bids that your estimators are creating. And since it's so easy to set up and use, you'll really save time, especially when doing revisions. After adjusting your initial output document settings, you won't really need to make many changes to the default printing options. You just pick the document you want to generate. However, if you need to tweak the document on how it looks for the job, ProjectPAK remembers the changes you make across sessions. Now, time doesn't allow us to go through every option, but let's look at a couple of the settings so that you can get a feel for how it works. Notice my document is set to high detail and product prices. And down a little bit farther, I've asked ProjectPAK to break out and aggregate installation and delivery charges so that they print in their own area on the document. We also have the option to set up a header and footer. The header text usually contains an overview of the scope you're bidding. The footer text usually contains your boilerplate terms and conditions. Now that we've reviewed the settings, let's go ahead and generate that document. So let's take a look at the top of the document and we'll work our way down. You can print your own company's logo at the very top, and right below it tells us what kind of document it is. And taking a look over here, we can see the name and the address of our general contractor. Right below it is the project details. And the next is the header text that I pointed out. And these are the columns that we're currently printing on the estimate. In my proposal, I told ProjectPAK to print the floor and the room headers, as well as the products in each room. However, I hide the individual product prices. As you remember, I told ProjectPAK to break out any delivery and installation charges, followed by the totals. Lastly, ProjectPAK prints any contractual boilerplate verbiage at the bottom. Alright, so let me show you how simple it is to alter a document. This time, let's say we don't want to break out the delivery and install charges. Instead, we'll move these costs back into their respective products. Also, let's print the product's height, width, and depth. Now we can take a look at the changes we've made. Notice the new columns that we've added with the height, width, and depth. Scrolling down, you can also see that we're no longer breaking out the delivery and installation charges. You got to see it for yourself. ProjectPAK's built-in document generator is very powerful. You can set it up to print as much or as little as required. For example, we have customers who simply print out their scope of work at the top, print the total bid amount, and at the bottom, print the terms and conditions. Moving on, next I want to demonstrate ProjectPAK's Job Spec capability. If you're estimating with parametric product assemblies, you have the option of setting up job specs that dynamically alter the product assemblies so that they match the job specifications. In my database, each product assembly is parametric and is comprised of a number of reusable sub-assemblies. Each sub-assembly has the material, hardware, and labor needed to build some aspect of the overall product. For example, here's the toe kick subassembly and the door subassembly. Let's go ahead and take a deeper look inside the door subassembly. The door lists the material, hardware, and labor needed to bid the door fronts. In a moment, we'll see how Job Spec dynamically swaps out the materials and hardware so that they match the job specifications. So let's create a job spec for this job. Let's say that the plan specifies maple. So let's call this new job spec Maple. Instead of building a maple job spec from scratch, which would take a fair amount of time, it's easier to tap into the pre-built job spec templates. So here we'll load an existing job spec template. Here are all the maple template job specs, so let's take a closer look at the door front spec. Here we can see the current door drawer front material. It's calling for maple MDF, which means that when we apply the job spec to the estimate, ProjectPAK will replace the estimate's door material with maple MDF. Also, just take note that job specs are completely and 100% customizable. You can configure your job spec to be as detailed or as sparse as required. So, the process is simply going through the job specs and making sure that they match the job specifications. For example, if we need to change the toe kick material, just click the library icon and select the correct material from the library. Alright, so now let's say the job specs match the job we're bidding. First, we need to assign the job spec to their corresponding tree node level. A simple job will probably have one job spec assigned to the entire estimate. Bigger and more complex jobs may have multiple job specs and they would be assigned to applicable floors and rooms. For this demo, we'll assign the maple job spec to the entire job by selecting the base bid. Before I apply the job spec, note that the current sell price is just over $26,000. And now that we have the job spec applied, notice how the sell price has changed. The reason being, ProjectPAK has substituted maple where applicable throughout the estimate, and this has altered the costs and accordingly the sell price. Returning to the door subassembly, see how ProjectPAK has swapped out the target rows with maple? In the demo today, we set up and applied the job specs after dragging the products onto the worksheet, and clearly that works. But if you prefer, you can set up and assign the job specs prior to dragging the products onto the worksheet. Either way, Job Spec is a powerful tool for dynamically changing product assemblies so that they match the specifications of the job. Okay, next up is how ProjectPAK handles alternates. And by alternates, I'm referring to either adding or removing floors, rooms, and/or products from your bid. Let's say we want to make the reception desk an alternate. The way we do this is select the folder and open the description panel. We just check it as an alternate, and notice how ProjectPAK changes the folder icon accordingly. Also, notice there's 3 status values for the alternates: pending, approved, and rejected. We'll mark this one as pending. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this changes our generated quotation. Since room 202 is now an alternate, ProjectPAK has moved it from the base bid area to the alternate area. Let's see what the document looks like should we approve the alternate. Approved alternates get printed in the body of the quotation. So what if the alternate was a deduct instead of an add? Simply make the quantity negative, and there you have it. And the last topic that we'll cover in today's demo is change orders. Let's add a change order called Doctor's Lounge to the scope of the bid. ProjectPAK differentiates the bid from the change orders. Notice how the change order is at the same level as the base bid? There are 5 statuses with change orders: pending, submitted, accepted, approved, and rejected. We'll have this one as submitted. And when we select the status, it also auto-populates the submitted date and the status date, so you can track your change orders. The base bid was estimated at a 15% profit, but let's bump up the change order markup to 20%. Keep in mind, this is only changing the profit for this particular change order, not the entire base bid. Being able to set a different profit markup on change orders is a great feature in ProjectPAK. So now let's build out this change order. We'll call it room 400. Once you've built the change order work breakdown structure, you're ready to add products. So we'll do this the exact same way we did for the base bid. And of course, ProjectPAK is keeping the dashboard in sync with any changes to the estimate. All right, let's take a look at the document now that we've added this change order. Like the alternates, and depending on its status, the change order will sit at the very bottom of the quote. If you're managing a lot of change orders, ProjectPAK can help you manage that, because yes, you guessed it, we have a report for that. Once you run a change order report, you can see the description, the dates, as well as the amounts. So that way you have a full picture of everything you have pending. Bringing your attention back to our presentation, I hope you can see how much of an impact ProjectPAK would make on your business. It improves accuracy. ProjectPAK is designed to maximize reuse, as opposed to constantly typing information from scratch. This greatly reduces mistakes. A couple of examples you might remember is when I copied product assemblies and library items into the estimate. It helps you with faster bidding. Reusing library items and product assemblies not only improves the accuracy, but it speeds up doing the takeoff. Everything in ProjectPAK's database is recyclable. Speaking of speeding up bidding, during the demo I showed you how easy it was and how fast we can generate professional-looking proposals and change orders. This is especially useful when revising and resubmitting documents. Even if ProjectPAK only improved estimating and document generation, I would hope you'd agree that it's a powerful application. But you saw that it does even more. It handles contact management, bid status tracking, win-loss statistics, and change order management. In a nutshell, ProjectPAK helps you manage the critical functions of estimating and winning new work. Lastly, you have all of this useful post-estimate information at your fingertips. During the demo, I showed you how each product in the database is built upon underlying material, labor, and hardware, all of this needed to build the product. These details are available to you should you be awarded the job. The estimated materials and hardware eliminate the chore of doing a material takeoff when you're cutting a purchase order. Estimated labor hours can be used for capacity planning and scheduling. This is especially true if you use ShopPAK, since ShopPAK and ProjectPAK are totally and completely integrated. And there you have it, ProjectPAK at a bird's eye view. Use the information on the screen here to reach out to us with any questions or if you want to look into something more in depth. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you.